Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to be with you guys. I am back to um, my regular setup. I realized I could stream from Zoom, but then I can't see your comments, or I didn't figure out how to see your comments anyway. So I'm gonna just jump right in. I wanted to do another live, continuing on the same theme that my lives this week and last week have been on. Um, so last earlier this week I did a live and I was explaining how you need to close the feedback loop, and the first part of recognizing that your world is responding exactly as it should be is by thinking things always work out for you, right? Things always work out how they should. Because if you're thinking there's something wrong with the outcome that I'm getting, your attention is going to be on the outcome. Your attention is going to be effort based, right? And I really talked about how you become really attached to how much you're giving because you believe that your effort is what is going to earn you the reward that you're after. And nothing could be further from the truth, right? So, once you understand that your feedback loop is working perfectly, you can really start to know how to adjust what it is that needs to change in your input so that your output matches your desire. This is like, let's say you print out a document from like Microsoft Word or something, and you notice a typo. You could be holding that paper and saying to it, affirmations over it. You're going to change the typo, this is done now, all this kind of stuff. You could be saying anything you wanted over that paper. But until you actually go back to the source, the originator of that paper, and change the typo in the Microsoft Word or whatever processor that you've been using, you need to actually change it there. And then you can print out as many copies as you desire, right? So once you understand how this feedback loop works, you'll be able to change any kind of outcome that you're seeing. You're going to be able to have exactly the kind of your money goals reached. You're going to have your relationship goals reached, your health goals reached, and so forth, because you're going to understand how to change the input, which always begins with you. So let me just share my screen with you. I'm going to do a little drawing again with you guys. Okay, so here's our little guy. I used him earlier in my previous lives. This is a person that's right now in the present. Okay, um, let's say that down here is kind of a timeline of their whole life, if you will. Okay, I'm going to make this a different color. So let's say that when they're 5 years old here, the purple one, they experience abandonment. Okay, a, and it doesn't need to be actual abandonment like we think of a parent abandoning their child. It could be the parent is just never around in the way that the child needs at that given time. Okay, so they start having worthiness issues here, and they start believing that people will leave them or that their needs cannot be met through other people. They start getting, leery of forming relationships with other people. Let's say that they're now 8 years old. Here they are, 8 years old, and they start getting teased at school for who they are. Something about them is unique. It's different than everybody else, and the children around them are very aware of this, and they turn it into a negative thing. They start making that thing a negative aspect of this person, and so this person's self-concept suffers now and starts believing that there's something wrong with them, that they don't fit in, and that they need to conform in order to fit in, but they don't really know how to do that. So they start having even more worthiness issues. Maybe they even start to begin to hate themselves. Maybe they start speaking over themselves negatively, like, I'm so stupid, or I can never figure things out, whatever. Okay, fast forward. Now this person is 12. Okay, they're 12 years old and their body is changing. They're starting to develop uh, more and more into an adult, And so maybe their voice changes or their body changes, and this causes them to be self-conscious, right? Maybe again, they don't have the kind of support, the kind of effort from the parents that maybe they should have. Let's say now, fast forward, they're 15. They're developing, um, they're developing some self-reliance things, right? So they believe that if anything is going to get done, they have to do it, and their parents are never around. Again, it doesn't mean that they're not being provided for, although that could be a situation. It just means that this child doesn't feel like they can count on their parents, right? So they're developing these beliefs of the world. I'm running out of colors. Let's say they're now 22. They just graduated college. They did all the things that somebody told them that they need to be doing. Oops. And they just ignore those extra lines. So they believe that they've been doing everything the world told them to do, but they're not happy. They don't really know what they should be doing. They're kind of feeling, just not really sure of themselves, and all of these things have been happening, and now they're watching their friends go on, get jobs. Maybe that's not happening for them, and they're just really feeling like it all goes back to their childhood. It all goes back to how they were dealt with, right? They were an outcast. They weren't strong enough in some way. They weren't smart enough. They weren't athletic enough. All of the things that they weren't is what comes to their minds. This is what every single one of us will go through, even if we have a perfect childhood. Um, even if our parents are always around, or always we have a very strong support system. The things that happen to us are unique to us. The interpretation of the things that happen to us are unique to us, and so somebody could be a parent could just miss one recital or one game from a child, for example, and that child really holds on to how the parent wasn't there for them. Everybody is processing things differently. And what's important to know here is that these past versions of yourself never go anywhere. They stick around. And not only do they stick around, they actually learn. So that same person who suffered abandonment, some sort of an abandonment wound when they were 5, let's say they suffer another abandonment wound when they're 7, or when they're 8, or when they're 9, and when they're 10, 11, 12, when they're 20, 22, they are going to not only keep suffering those wounds, they're learning. They're strengthening that initial wound. So it's not just that they have all of these different types of personalities that have now become, their protectors, here to do a job. That's the whole reason that you remember things that were negative to you. It's so that you can eventually turn that into wisdom, and not have that same exact situation come through again, that you learn more about yourself, you learn more about the world, and so forth. But if we don't properly integrate each of these people, each of these little guys here, they are growing stronger. Okay. And so if, let's say I'm this person, this little guy here, he's now, let's say he's 25. This guy is 25. And let's say his, worthlessness, his self-worth. So this one, when he was 8, is the one that's growing stronger than all of them. Okay, he is, which pen did I use? He's stronger than all of them. He is the biggest one out of all of them. That means that when something comes that's going to hit on abandonment, when something comes that's going to hit on like confusion, or not knowing what to do, or not trusting oneself, or believing that you don't have a future, this guy is going to show up because he's the strongest one, and he's going to come in and start telling this guy why he can't have everything that everybody else around him seemingly has, why he can't change his future, why he can't have something different. So the the worthlessness one is going to start creeping up into every single area of life, whether that's relationships, whether it's money, whether it's career, or even just a job, even friendships. It's going to come in every single area, and this is why I say you can think about separating your life, and chances are, if you do think about separating your life, um, it's because there's a lack of integration. Somehow there hasn't been that full, complete integration of one or more of these past experiences, your past versions, into who you are now. The problem is that when we have all of these people, all of these different versions of ourselves, all of these lessons that we've learned, but we haven't fully integrated coming along with us, we are constantly referencing the past when it comes to our present. That is how the cycle of these past things keeps happening. So, for example, you could be saying to yourself, I really want X. I really want a promotion at work, or I really want to have a family, or I really want to, go back to school, whatever it is. Okay, you have a goal, you have a dream, you have a desire, and you want that thing. You start going down the path of applying for school, or applying for the job, or gathering the skills that you need for the promotion, or even just learning how to or maybe you don't you skip that. Maybe you just get on dating sites, right? You're going to start finding your person. You're starting there, but you're referencing the past to try to make a different future, to try to make something that you've never seen before, and you haven't done the middle part. We haven't done the integration so that those lessons that you had in the past are now true wisdom. They don't hold sway over you when they shouldn't. If you continue to reference the past while you're trying to create a new future, you're always going to just repeat the past. You're never going to be able to create something new because you're using old materials, you're using old information, you're using things that you had gathered from when you were 5, when you were 8, when you were 10, so on and so forth. And that will never help you create the life that you want when you're 22, when you're 25, when you're 35, whatever it is. Okay, so this is truly what is happening. You are standing at any given point in time, every microsecond in time, you are standing in front of limitless opportunities of evolution and change. Limitless. So many, think about limitness for a second. So many that you cannot comprehend how many opportunities of evolution and true lasting change are in front of you, but you continue to pick from the same shelf. You continue to pick the same kinds of experiences. It's because this is done non-consciously. You've never truly integrated. Yesterday I made a post. If you want more information on it, the integration, the integrity of who you are, your self-concept, please go back and please look at it yesterday on my Instagram, because without this integrity, you are continuously making your outer world reflect the only thing that you knew, which is the past. It's impossible for you to create something new. One other habit that I just want to point out is a lot of people will know they do this. They won't be able to pinpoint why they're doing this. They'll just know there's cycles that continuously happen, right? It's always the same fight with the kids. It's always the same argument with my spouse. I change jobs, I change careers, and then I end up having the same disagreements with my coworkers or my boss or whatever the situation is. So they'll see there's patterns here. I know that there's a pattern. I see that this is happening. They might even say, I know that this is happening and I know I'm the cause of it. So they might even have the awareness that they are the cause of these repeating cycles, right? But what they won't know is how to make any differentiating change. And so what they'll do is they'll try to stop making decisions. They'll actually try to stop doing anything, right? I won't go after that job because last time X, Y, and Z happened. And so instead of learning how to use their feedback loop to actually navigate to get them closer to their goal and to have the life that they desire, they actually stop doing that. They just say, okay, I'm just going to maintain what I have. Maintenance is not creation. Maintaining is not creating. And it will lead you to be so frustrated with your situation. But more than that, all of life, everything around you, so the people that you interact with, the circumstances that happen to you just by happenstance with your appliances or your car or whatever, is trying to push you into growth mode. Everything around you will try to push you to evolve because that's the way that you were designed. Okay? Your identity is not static. It is not meant to be static. Your self concept is not meant to be this one dimensional flat foundation. It is something that it is chosen, it is rehearsed, it is felt, and it is experienced. And this is on a daily, not just daily, it's every single moment of every single day. The way that you are choosing, whether that's consciously or non-consciously, whether you are actively deciding that you're going to make a new decision or not, your identity is the cause of your external world. And so until all of your old past selves can be integrated into who you currently are, until your lessons have done the conversion into wisdom, until you can actually show up into the present now without using uh, your past attachments to emotional states in the past to make decisions, you're going to continuously just keep recreating the things that you already know because they are ingrained in so many ways. They're ingrained in your nervous system, they're ingrained in your emotional consciousness, they're ingrained in your physical brain, in the organ in your head, they are ingrained in your mindsets. Okay, the way that you think about things, the way that you perceive the world. I would even bet that you have found a community of people who think the same way as you, who go about life the same way as you. So your reality cannot escape the gravity of your self-perception until you are able to truly perceive yourself in an accurate and full manner. Until that picture of yourself is not only accurate, but it is the width and breadth of who you actually are. That's when you can start to make change. This is why at the beginning of this video, I had mentioned if you understand that the paper that you're holding, because the Word document that you printed now becomes a paper that you're holding physically, tangibly in your hand, your outer world, your 3D world. When you understand that you don't need to declare over that thing, you don't need to make affirmations over that thing, when you understand how to get back into the processor from which that Word document originally came, fix the typo, then you can do this again and again and again. This is why this life skill is so important to know. Your external conflicts are caused because there is an internal conflict within yourself, and it's always meant to help you ultimately address that conflict within yourself first. When you can do that, no external conflict is going to have any kind of hold over you. Your reality will easily escape the gravity of who you truly are. Your self-perception is the thing that is causing your 3D reality to be tethered to you. It's the reason why you can go far and wide. You can go to the ends of the earth. You can go 10 years. You can go 100 years. But it doesn't matter if who you are doesn't change. You're going to continue to create the same reality. I have a call coming up here, so I need to get off, but I did want it to just come on and do this live for you guys very quickly. If this kind of work is something that you are interested in learning more about, you want to really dive into who you are and ultimately be able to address things that maybe you've been putting band-aids on for all of your life even, then I want to invite you to join me for my Sacred Speech 3-day live experience. The replays will always be available. You'll have full access to the course for your life. It starts on October 15th. It's October 15th, 18th, and 19th. Pre-sale is on right now. The link is in the description of this video. That's such a great way to not only do this work, but if you've never worked with me, it's a great way to get introduced to the kind of work that I do, my coaching methods and style. and also meet a really great community, right? So you'll be able to interact with other people. If you've already pre-registered, you can access the portal right now. There's some things in there for you to look at and to check out, to try if you desire that to do that before we start. Otherwise, I hope this video really helps give you an idea of where you need to be putting your efforts. Everything that you're doing on the external world, if you're just trying to change the document that you're holding in your hand, you're missing the whole point, and you're really outsourcing your power. Right now the power is in the Word document. This Word document doesn't want to change. This typo doesn't want to fix itself. When you understand that you are the processor, you are the thing that ultimately can change that typo and then again print as many of those pages as you desire, you're able to do this again and again, regardless of what area of life it is that you want to see changes or improvement in. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time.